All right, hi everybody. Nick here from 3 Cheers for our number 2 of 5 cooking classes, teaching basics and how to kind of soup up fun, easy foods that you can make. I want to introduce you to my camera crew.
Yo, boys!
The Miller boys, super big Raider basketball fans, and work in progress camera men. So they're helping me out with this today. All right, so we're doing a mac and cheese. First thing we need to do is get water boiling. So right now, get a pot of water. You can see mine here on the burner. Get it boiling so it's got a nice boiling going, and then come back to the video. So pause now, get your water boiling, and come back. Waiting for you to get here, waiting. Okay, so you're here. We're gonna start this. We're gonna undo our kit. The tools we're gonna use today: pot for our cheese sauce, strainer, knife, whisk, spoon. Easy. Any kind of version of that would be fine. If you don't have a whisk, a fork works. Spoons you got, knives. We're not doing a lot of chopping. So we're gonna unpack our pack. Butter, flour. That's for our roux, okay? It's gonna thicken our sauce. Pepper. Ever hold your fingers down a little bit? You good? Okay. Pepper and salt, always good. Our macaroni. Our bacon, then put together. So there's a little bit, you can see it's cooked all the way through. That's just fat on there, which that's flavor, so we like that. And then we've got milk, and we've got cheese, okay? So let's go over and put our noodles in to our pasta. That's our first step. So grab your salt, grab your noodles, and head on over. Official cameraman of the cooking class, Emerson and Everett. All right, so salt. Why do we put salt in water? Wives' tale, put a ton of salt, it boils faster. At our altitude, you'd have to add a ton of salt, which would not make the pasta good for that to be a thing. But what does salt do? It adds flavor to your pasta. So you're gonna wanna put, like I would do, like that. Now, boiling more vigorously, yeah, that's cool, because it does change the, somebody smarter than me would know exactly why that happens, but it changes it so it, don't even know. So let's not pretend I do. Pasta, here we go, noodles in. So you're gonna start this probably about 8 minutes, but we're gonna check it on a regular basis, see how it's going. All right, we're gonna come back to our cutting board. We're also, oh, hold on here. Everett, just stay right there, okay? So we are going to get this pot here. And you're gonna grab your flour and your butter, okay? And you're gonna wanna start on just like a, I don't know, medium low heat. You don't want this to cook very hot. So what we're gonna make first, while our pasta's cruising over here, we're gonna wanna make roux, okay? Roux is flour and butter. And why do you do that? Is because that's what thickens the sauce. So you're gonna take these two things, put them together. You're gonna mix them in a pot ahead of time, because if you were to put butter and flour into milk or cream, it would just be flour and cream. It's not gonna do any thickening. It just doesn't work that way. But by doing butter and flour together and mixing them ahead, you will create a cool pasty kind of mixture in there, and when you mix that in with milk and you put that milk in, it will thicken it up, so it's pretty cool. So we're gonna get that going. So see how the butter starting to melt. So also over in your station here, get your cheese and get your milk. Now, what kind of cheese? Doesn't matter. Actually, should open these up, but you want to make sure when you're doing a cheese sauce that it's like the thin shredded. We've got a couple things on top, but you want as much of that thin shredded stuff as you can. These big ones are going to be okay, but the smaller stuff is much better for what we're doing. So my cameraman needed a water break there. So yeah, keep your pasta stirring. Not a big deal. All right, so here we go. So now in this container we had, I think it was about 2 tablespoons of butter. You want about the same of flour, equal parts. Equal parts is what you're looking for. So this should be about right for what we had in there, but if you've got a measuring cup, do 2. Make sure this turns down. You don't want it to be too hot, so that butter, you want it to cook real slow. So you're gonna mix all this together. Okay, so 2 tablespoons to the 2 tablespoons of butter. Now you wanna get your whisk, and you wanna get all this going on the bottom here. If you need to use a little plastic rubber scraper or spatula to get it out of the corners, go right ahead. But what you're trying to do is create that pasty roux on the bottom. Now there's all kinds of roux. Couldn't tell you what they all are, but they're all kind of a color or darkness, which flavors things differently because of the flavor in butter as it cooks more. So it gets a little more like a smokier or nuttier as it starts to get darker. So you can flavor things differently. Okay, so we got this roux kind of mixed up here. We're gonna want to add that milk now. Now you got a warmer roux in the bottom of a pan. You want colder milk. You don't want to have hot milk. If you had cold roux, hot milk's fine, and the reason is, or warmer milk, you don't want it hot because it'll curdle. But you want to have that temperature not get too warm too fast. You don't want to scorch or boil milk. That's no bueno. So, all right, so we're gonna add this a little bit at a time. Well, my pan's too hot, of course. Good old electric burners. So we're gonna add this in. I'm gonna do about half of what I got here. And then I'm gonna stir this roux and let this kind of all mix together. Now keep that whisk going, keep that whisk going. So first thing we gotta do is get this milk kind of warmed up a bit before we can do anything else. So all this roux, you just keep stirring it. It'll all start to break down. All those little clumps will kind of go. So now that butter and flour are in there thickening your sauce. Turn the heat up a little bit, just keep an eye on it. You want it to like bubble, not boil. So just kind of start to simmer. My jet burner, glass burner is always super fun. How do we know when our pasta's done? I mean, it's kind of like how you like it. I mean, I like mine just a little bit of bite. That's al dente, so a little bit of undercooked in the inside. Some people like it cooked all the way, soft. You want to switch it, brother? Okay, so now pour about another quarter of what you got left in there. Should be about right. Okay, and then we're gonna let that warm up. Is it? Oh, we gotta switch cameramen, folks. No, we'll just switch. Okay, all right, here we go. Switch out, buds. My camera assistants. So mac and cheese. I mean, what can you do with mac and cheese? You can do anything with mac and cheese. Kind of like a quesadilla we made last time. You can pretty much put anything in there. So things I've done, things I've seen. I mean, you can see the restaurants now are kind of in the fall time, creating all kinds of cool recipes. Pork belly. We're doing bacon today. Cheeseburger macaroni is just burger and mac and cheese, obviously. At home, we've done a broccoli. Broccoli cheese, that's always good. Buffalo chicken, done that before too. If you use mozz and kind of made a white sauce instead of an orange sauce, it's up to you, but I put like mushrooms in there before. You know, lots of things you can do, so pretty cool. You guys getting it here? You guys are gonna get these guys like, oh, that's right, we're supposed to turn it sideways, right? Yeah. All right, so we're putting it sideways. Fixing it. Last time I didn't realize that we had to turn the camera sideways. Silly us. Okay, starting to get pretty close to where I want to start putting some cheese in there. Mm-hmm. Not for you. You taking a treat, cheese, bud?
No.
All right. Now, we do have salt. Hold on. A little bit of salt, always good. Every time you're seasoning anything, you want to get a little bit of that in there. That'll season in layers. So not just putting it on top, but kind of getting it into the mix as you're going is good. You know, other things that I've added before. So we've got kosher salt here, but we've included some. We've got something called, oh buddy, Greek seasoning. We love it. It's like pepper salt. It's got a few other things going on in it. Pretty cool. Garlic powder. I've done that before. Little Italian seasonings, you can do that. And then, as we call in our house, the shaker cheese. Always a good add to this. So a little fresh parm as you're finishing. Okay, so now we're gonna take our cheese. Now we gave you a lot, so you're gonna have leftovers. You could probably make another quesadilla out of this, but we're gonna just start. What are you doing? Emerson. Okay, cameraman, you gotta keep on the pot there. All right, so I'm gonna start adding a little bit of this cheese.
You will.
Just kind of letting it do its thing in there, trying to get most of this small stuff. And I'm gonna stir it in there. So that roux, as it's warming up, is gonna keep thickening. This cheese is gonna keep thickening. And you wanna just get it stirring. Make sure it doesn't get too hot. You can already see it starting to do its, like that. Let's go back and check this pasta. I'm gonna take this off because my glass burners get really hot. So best way to check a noodle, just let me see here. So I'm gonna get it on the camera. See how it's just got that little bit of done inside?
Been steaming hot.
So these guys are pretty close. So it's got just a little bit of undone on the underdone on the inside. That's what you want. We're gonna add another layer of cheese in here. Ultimately we're gonna use about half the cheese in this container for sure. We're gonna give it a taste and see what we think. If it needs to be, so mine's starting to get really thick, so I'm gonna add a little bit more milk. That's why we kept some of that off the water. Other thing you can do if you run out of milk, take a little of that pasta water. It's really good to save your pasta water just a little bit because it's got that flavor of the noodles, better than just straight up water out of the tap. I'm actually gonna go drain this. You can just stay over here, buddy. Just stay on the cheese, would you? I'm gonna go drain this quick. All right, so I'm gonna hold mine off the side. Okay. So we lost you guys there. I'm gonna try to put the video together so it's all good. But back to the cheese. Okay, we're gonna get this in here. Okay, we're gonna stir that into Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's the cheesiest. Hey. Put the rest of my milk in there. I think that's about where I'm gonna leave it. Now we're gonna go back to the cutting board. I'm gonna turn this down to super low. It's looking good. Like it. We're gonna mix in there. There's some water still in the pasta, so that's gonna end up real good. But one thing we didn't do is cut our bacon. Come on over. So, like we learned last week, okay? So we're gonna cut this bacon. Make sure you zero in right there, okay? Okay, so we're gonna cut this bacon. You got 3 pieces here. We're gonna stack it up nice. We're gonna cut it in half. Because then you can stack it up again. Now you're gonna take, remember we did the knuckles last time? So work on that piece where you, as you're cutting, this piece, it's hitting here and hitting your knuckles. If you did out that finger, if it skipped on you, you could nick a finger. So you see anybody worked in the kitchen. It's been a long time since I worked in the kitchen, but I've got all kinds of nicks and cuts because it doesn't, no matter how much you try, you can get it. And we're going to cut this bacon like so. Okay. Now, could have cut this ahead of time if you wanted to, but, and then we're going to take this over to our cheese sauce. The kids don't walk around with a knife like that, I suppose. Bacon? Oh. Okay, stay here. All right, so we're going to mix this in. Okay. All right, now we're going to take our noodles, mix our mac and cheese. We're going to take our cheese sauce and mix it in there together. And we're going to mix it all up. Nice and creamy and yummy and saucy and good. If it's a little wet, it'll seize itself right up. This is absolutely where I would add a little bit more. Add a little bit of salt because I know it's going to want it. Okay, now here, again, what can you do with this? You could put anything in here. This could be where jalapenos go. This could be where buffalo gets added. I've had a barbecue before. I mean, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, you could add the pepper that we packed in there if you like pepper. I'm not doing it here, but this is mac and cheese. So let's get a bowl. Let's go back to the front button, okay? right. There we go. So, mac and cheese, bacon, smoky, yummy, a little bit of protein, noodles. Again, a vessel you can do anything with. So, thanks for checking it out. Next week's kit, I believe, is going to be like souped up ramen. So we're going to make ramen and we're going to try to add some things to it that you'll have around the house. Or, we'll have a kit, easy veggies, that kind of stuff. So it'll be fun. All right. Cheers. Have a great day, everybody.